Hi, welcome to today's TALK Concert, presented by Professor Henri Sigfridssson. He's working at the Hochschule in Essen, Folkwang Musikhochschule in Germany. And he's here with us, and he will present two pieces played by only the left hand, which is quite unusual. So the first one is Scriabin's Prelude, Scriabin's Nocturne. Yes. Played by the left hand. There are two pieces. And then the last piece would be the well-known Bach Chaconne, D minor, also played by the left hand. And shortly after he played, his performance finished, then we will have an interview here. So please don't go too far away when he finishes. Okay?
Okay.
Right? Okay, then let's welcome Sigfridsson. Professor Henri Sigfridsson. I mean, it was an amazing performance, amazing movie. And especially, I cannot believe that it was done just only with his hand, left hand alone. I mean, it sounded to me like an orchestra. So, how do you feel?
It's over. I mean, of course, after having been teaching and judging and so then. But that's our life. Then all of a sudden to play a concert, I mean, I love to play. I love this music, but it's compare it to the artists who only play, touring, practicing every day, 7-8 hours. So our life is a little bit different from that. But all in all, feeling good.
Yes, but it didn't sound like you were tired. Thank you very much for your time and effort.
Thank you.
I know that, well, we've been actually quite busy lately, as you all know. We started with this international competition. We did semi-final round whole day, and the next day was final round whole day. And then, right after that, we all started teaching. So he's been teaching and judging, and also preparing for this concert. So he actually, with jet lag, because he just flew from Germany. So now it's what? Now it's 6 p.m. here.
Yeah,
so
I just woke up.
Yeah, it's actually 10 a.m. in Germany. So now he's in jet lag also. So overall, it's just amazing to me how he manages all that. So?
Well, I have maybe a little bit of experience. I come to Asia every year, probably 10 to 12 times. So I mean, it does not reduce the jet lag, but you can get used to it.
That's true. How was your impression, might I ask, about the competition? Because we all participated. I mean, not everybody, but most of us. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't know what will happen and how it will be, and I was really happy about everything. And I also thought that I'm going to do everything what I can to promote this competition more and more. And I hope next time you will make it a 1-week competition, because you have so many people here, and it deserves to be like that. So and we had wonderful work, absolutely beautiful jury, very friendly, absolutely correct, and we had such nice time. So great experience, absolutely. Thank you for organizing all that. Really great pleasure.
No, thank you for coming up here.
No, it's my pleasure.
It's my pleasure having you with the esteemed jury members.
Thank you.
How was your program today? How do you find these pieces? Challenging?
So I have played them many times throughout the years, and I love this music. It is, there are more challenging pieces for the left hand, but they are, of course, very challenging to play with one hand. And funnily enough, even though we practice, but it never gets as natural as playing with two hands.
Yeah.
Funnily enough.
One can imagine.
And somehow there is some inner polyphony in these pieces, and which would be, of course, no problem with two hands, but somehow it's not only 50%. I have the feeling that I have 25% available. So, yeah, I mean, it's great music and very, very fantastic feeling to play. And I love these acoustics here. It's very, very nice to play. To play these pieces in front of 2,000 people in a big hall, that just doesn't work. It's useless.
Right. Is there any particular reason why you came up with this particular program?
So I injured my hand, and from 2015 to 2019 I didn't play with my right hand at all. And then I started to play again in 2019, building up a little bit, little by little, but always when I have this situation that I know that I have jet lag and I probably don't have so much time to practice, I don't want to risk it to play with my right hand.
No.
But I just gave a big recital program in Austria with pieces for both hands, and it felt very nice to play. But I knew that being tired, it has something to do with the nerves. This problem of mine, and I talked totally openly about it. And so, especially jet lag is a terrible enemy of this problem.
But I know that he just presented a big recital, meaning even including Rachmaninoff's third concerto. So he can play, of course. And
yes.
He tours with both hands.
Yes.
It's just this time.
That's right. Normally I play actually nowadays with both hands. I will be again in Asia in actually 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will perform on the 1st of March in Hanoi, Rachmaninoff's second concerto. But I have been then in Asia already for almost 2 weeks. So I know that then I don't have any jet lag, I don't need to worry about that. And then I go to Europe, play a small recital, and then in the middle of March I come back to Japan. And I play there several chamber music programs, but there is like time to get used to the new time zone 1 week, and only after that I perform these concerts.
Safety net for your...
Absolutely, yes. I don't do that anymore, that I arrive today and tomorrow I play a concert with both hands, because I don't do it.
There's no need to.
Yeah, I used to do that kind of things when I was younger, and actually I was very good at those, but those times are over now.
There's nobody pushing you.
That's the lucky thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, since we have some students here, I see. Does anybody have some questions about the programs or about the professor himself or about anything? Well, this is an open conversation, so why not take this chance? Or from colleagues?
I'm not a student, but I have a question. So first of all, thank you so much for your fantastic performance. And I have a question. Which one from the 3 original Bach violin version, Bach Busoni or Bach Brahms, do you prefer and why?
Thank you for this extremely difficult question. So, this is very hard to say. For me, wonderfully performed original version of the violin in a perfect acoustical situation is probably still the best. It is the feeling that, well, this is what it was composed for, and all the aspects and dimensions what this music has. I think it's somehow, the register of the violin is higher. The sound is a bit more bright. And then Brahms, this version I just played, which is more or less similar to the original one. I think this register for the piano suits very well. I could not imagine playing it an octave higher, where it's originally written for the violin. And but of course, this music was not composed originally for our modern piano. And I dare to take some freedom, using pedal, even in places where Brahms did not write like that. And I think we're allowed to use the possibilities of our modern instrument. which then again was probably one of the most incredible thing what Busoni did for many works of Bach, that he transcribed them for a modern piano, using orchestral sounds, using organ sounds. And I played also the Busoni version earlier, and I loved it even when I was young. Nowadays, I might think that for this music, it's probably a little bit too bombastic. But yeah, this is maybe too much. It goes in that direction, but it is so geniusly done. And of course, it can be also played in a way that it does not sound in a bad meaning and bad way like a showpiece. Right. So I think clear winner is the original one, and then shared second places for Brahms and Busoni.
Well, actually, that was very close to what I was personally feeling too, because I was thinking that, of course, I heard your pedal, and that reminded me of the organ sound, as you just mentioned yourself. And then for me personally, it was more touching because it was, as you said, more close to the original version. The simplicity of it, although it's not simple at all to play, but the sound itself is closer to the violin version.
Yes, definitely.
Compared to the two-hands version. So
I would like to add, now that this whole festival also has a pedagogical meaning and purpose, so this is what I just played is a version of Bach. But of course we all play Bach on original Bach on a modern piano. And we were just talking the other night here that Bach wrote himself in a letter that he prefers his instrumental music, including chamber music, harpsichord music, prefers it to be played in a singing way. And but many of us has in their minds this way of mechanical, rhythmical. Of course, rhythm has to be there always, but this taka-taka-taka kind of mechanical approach to it. And it's very hard for me to imagine that the Baroque violinist would play in that way. But why are we allowed to play in that way? Why are we even allowed sometimes to avoid the singing quality of playing this music? So I think the little romantic touch of Bach, Brahms somehow emphasizes the singing quality of playing. We know that typical features of Baroque style was usage of agogic. There is a big difference between agogic and rubato. And
you might as well explain.
Sorry?
You might as well explain.
Yes, so for me, agogic is something which comes, for instance, from the usage of a string instrument bow. They don't play taka-taka, but they would play this kind of thing. So there's a little bit something with time. And rubato is then when you dare to take, like from the Italian, you steal the time, and then you have to give it back. I have a wonderful recording which I play all over Asia for students who play Bach. Performance of my colleague, our cembalo professor at Prof University in Essen, performing one Prelude and Fugue by Bach on cembalo.
Who's the
Christian Riga. He's a great master, and he knows everything. He's incredibly informed. And I have to say that I trust his approach to Bach playing more than any piano pedagogue on the world, including me. But this performance is, for my ears, on cembalo, almost frighteningly free. But it's incredibly beautiful. It is incredibly beautiful. And then I found it in the internet, and then I asked him, I love the way he plays. It's just fantastic. I was just wondering, I could imagine that some people might say, well, this is too romantic. And his answer was that, well, it's not that he just plays cembalo like if he's playing in a romantic way. This is based on information, what we know nowadays. He said that they have so many sources. I think he knows all of them, or has probably found most of them. And this is the conclusion they have made, how it was played in those days. This eternal problematic issue, tempo rubato, for instance. But and this encouraged me also to be a little bit more free in my playing when playing this kind of material, especially when teaching. One student of mine, sorry, this is a long story now, but I think it's interesting, especially because playing Bach on our modern instrument is such a problematic issue. So a student of mine went to Leipzig Bach competition. I have to say I love his Bach playing. He has also studied cembalo. He's rhythmical, but he takes time in a correct way and he plays Bach, in my opinion. First of all, I don't need to say anything to him. When he comes to the lesson, it's like, oh my God, it sounds fantastic. And anyway, so he went there and he played his way in his way in the first round and didn't pass the second round. But in the jury there was a friend of mine who I find is a fantastic mind and great artist, quite a famous person. I don't want to now mention the name. And this friend of mine wrote a message to me saying that your student was my absolute favorite, my number one, and I was totally appalled and totally devastated that when he couldn't pass to the second round. So what happened? My student went to speak to the jury members, and all of them without an exception said that in Bach playing you are not supposed to use rubato or any timing. It has to be absolutely mechanical and like that. And this was the answer from the jury of Bach competition. I want to, in public, talk about this issue here because I think it's actually, I mean, you can play in which way ever if you do it well. But I think this approach, if you want to be somehow faithful to the Baroque style, so I think this mechanical approach is probably not the most accurate. I compare that with architecture. So we know how Baroque church looks like. But many of us play, many of them especially, they play like, this Bauhaus style, and so, of course, I don't say that it should be played romantically. For instance, I love to sing in the lesson. I sing very often to the students. And if I sing something romantical, I sing in a romantic way, maybe even operatic way. If I sing in Baroque way, I try to sing like a Baroque singer, what I have heard recordings, how they sing. They don't sing this, oh, but maybe something like that.
Like chant.
It's a different approach. And so, so that we are dealing today with musical Bach, so I wanted to say a few words to this thing.
This is a very valuable information because many of us, including myself too, we always wonder what has to be done on the modern instrument when we play Bach. So, I also had a student today playing Bach quite mechanical way. So, thank you very much for sharing this precious tips and advices.
I want to add one more thing. It's also very, like I already mentioned, so it's very good. We have to anyway because the music is not composed for our instrument, so we have to imitate something else. Sometimes we imitate cembalo, indeed some arpeggio playing or something like that. And I don't say that we always, and then we imitate the organ or a choir or human voice. But sometimes it's useful to imitate string instruments because good strings instrument players and specialists, specialists for old music, they would never perform like taka 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 taka. There's always some shape, and also this music derives from language. We, especially the Asian language, you don't speak taka 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 taka. You speak very very much,
Yes,
this kind of things, and German language definitely is also that kind of language. It has a lot of intonation and waves and character. So, yeah, that's to that.
Right. Any questions?
Any further questions?
Any other questions?
그냥 음악 전체에 대해서 질문을 제가 이해하기로는 오늘 프리즘도 좀 만들으시고 구성도 있으셨다고 들었는데 뭔가 연주할 때는 그걸 되게 잘 숨겨야 하잖아요. 근데 아직은 그게 어려워서 혹시 어떤 마인드로 연주 때 그런 걸 잘 숨기시는지나 음악을 이제 엄청 오래 하셨으니까 좋아하는 말만으로 좀 하기 힘들다고 생각하는데 교수님의 마인드를 듣고 싶어서 그래서 좀
Okay, I'll translate it as best as I can. She says she just heard from you that you had a very busy schedule, hectic schedule, and then you had some problems with your right hand and with jet lag. So you are not really in the best condition to perform today. But from your performance, it didn't show at all. So she thinks that you hid those issues very well. And then she herself, as a aspiring student, she sometimes has this, many challenges, and she believes that to become a professional musician, it is not possible only to have the passion itself, but something else, some kind of a willingness or some kind of
Survival
a way
instinct.
to the survival instinct. So, how would you recommend? What did you recommend, or what kind of advice do you have for those challenged individuals?
Yeah. So, very good question. Thank you very much. There is probably no one way of coping in this situation. Of course, experience helps a lot. That's probably number one. We have done this and we have lived this life. I mean, teaching, traveling, jet lag, judging, but then you have family, you have kids, and maybe these kids don't sleep in the night. You have some problems with some other things, life has, sometimes it's here and sometimes it's very deep down. But still, we come on the stage and we cannot tell the audience, ladies and gentlemen, this and that happened, and we just go there and we're cool, we perform. But I think that one beautiful thing is that in a way, when we perform, that's the best place for us, because we enjoy this beautiful music and we forget everything. When I play, I didn't think about my tax problems a moment. I try to concentrate on how my playing sounds in this room. And this actually, this is also for young. Sorry, I'm talking too much. I'm going to translate it. So, especially for young people, because at young age you concentrate on playing the piano. It's hard enough to play the piano really well, but still that's not the number one thing. The number one thing is how it sounds in the hall, and so it doesn't matter how difficult it is here. So you still have to know how it sounds in the hall. You cannot tell the audience, ladies and gentlemen, now there is a difficult passage coming. I have no idea how it sounds because I haven't played the piano. You still have to know how it sounds, and this state of 100% listening while playing, it's one of the most wonderful moments, and because of this state, you can do things. You don't think about anything else. Of course, you have adrenaline, which helps you a lot. And also through this adrenaline and being a little bit nervous and to communicate with the audience, in a weird way, you sometimes then, even when playing, you find some new things that, oh my goodness, I never did this before. Great, sounds good, or doesn't, but still, you learn from performing itself. But this tape it's a very long story now. Then of course how to incorporate learning that into your practice. But I think this is with most of the people I was working today, and yesterday too. I told that are you listening to your own playing? There is a crescendo in the score. Did you hear the crescendo? And the moment you hear the crescendo. So here they are here, but they are not there. But this is a beautiful state. That's a paradise.
Yeah, interesting.
Tell us.
Anything else? Well, if not, let's give him some pleasant evening. So he can now go rest and have dinner. And all of you too. It's close to 6:30, so it's about dinner time. So then, thank you very much for your
Thank
time.
you.
And